Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. The North Hills fire near Helena continues to grow. Coming up, what firefighters are saying about that blaze and how it's forced evacuations of hundreds of people.
The intersection of Durston and Ferguson is being reduced to rubble. How that will impact area schools.
I'm Laura Podesta in Detroit with details on what to expect tonight during round one of the second Democratic debate.
Good morning to you and welcome to your Tuesday. I'm Missy O'Malley. Matt Elwell has our forecast here in just a moment. Chet Lehman has the day off. Our top story out of the state for you now. The North Hills fire near Helena grew to around 4,600 acres yesterday, and as crews continue to battle that wildfire. According to Lewis and Clark County Emergency Management, no structures have been lost so far, but the fire is threatening property and it's forced hundreds of evacuations. At a briefing, authorities said winds pushed the fire towards homes, but firefighters fought aggressively to protect those neighborhoods. And in western Montana, crews have made progress containing the lightning-caused Moss Ranch fire southwest of Ronan, the Flathead Indian Reservation. The fire is now 5,300 acres and containment is at about 60%, up from 40% on Sunday. The blaze is burning in grass and timber along steep, rocky, rugged terrain. No structures or other infrastructure are threatened at this time. Also, there is no evacuation notices in place. And Governor Steve Bullock says he is hearing what considers to be mostly good news about the wildfires in the state. But at a briefing yesterday, he also heard that for the 2019 fire season in Montana, it's just getting underway. And the short-term forecast calls for conditions that will increase fire danger in the state. Right now, Montana only has 4 major forest fires, and 2 of them are already winding down. The most active fires in the state are the Beeskow Fire north of Missoula, which officials say is likely to burn for the rest of summer, and the North Hills Fire, the one we just mentioned.
I hope that when people are hearing these evacuation orders, they'll take heed. Not only can this cause significant challenges to individuals' lives, but it can also preclude firefighters from getting in. We are hitting that point where I think we're going to see significant changes in both the moisture out there and the potential for fire. So if people are out recreating and enjoying themselves, to be darn careful.
Now, the 2 other fires are in western Montana near Bannock and Ronan. Those are mostly contained at this time. And Matt, you have been warning us this time has been coming.
And we also talked about some of that rain that we picked up in July, getting some of that growth, and now those grasses and whatnot are beginning to cure. So
cure out.
It'll be interesting. We've had a little bit of smoke in northern parts of Montana. Air quality is down. We have a red flag warning out for the afternoon and evening today. There may be a few isolated thunder showers, both dry thunderstorms and the potential of a few showers that are producing some rain. Into the 50s this morning. We've had a couple of showers out toward West Yellowstone early on. Now things are just partly cloudy to mostly clear. We'll see a few clouds through the early afternoon, isolated thunder showers for the afternoon and evening hours. We'll talk more about what this means for the rest of the week and into the weekend. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that, Matt. Our top local story for you now, and if you drove around in Bozeman at all yesterday, you know this all too well. More construction on Durston Road means more headaches for drivers, especially as we get closer to back to school time. MTN's Cody Boyer went back to the intersection of Durston and Ferguson and has an update.
The road closed signs have officially taken up their posts. And as you can see, if you take a look, crews have been busy. They've already removed a huge portion of the street. Now, the possible issue with this might all still be here when, say, you start bringing your kids back to school.
Kind of like painting yourself into a corner because there's not a lot of options.
Claws, bulldozers, and shovels might make concrete look like graham crackers. But to Bozeman School Deputy Superintendent Steve Johnson, this heap and the signs around it look like something else. No way through.
I think all of these improvements will be wonderful when they're finished, but yeah, getting through it is the painful part.
And with 3 schools worth of students relying on the route and about a month until school, buses will have to find a new way around it.
We have over 500 kids attending Meadowlark, for example, which is a lot.
Johnson says it's the closure of both of these spots on the road that has made the school nervous, turning intersections into rubble, but for good reason. He does hope that at least one of these will open up by school time.
It may impact the time. We may have to move up the pickup, 5 minutes or 10 minutes if it impacts the time of the bus route.
And the spot to pick up your kids at Meadowlark is right between both Cottonwood and Ferguson. Johnson adds that while it will be blocked, things should get safer in time.
That four-way stop is not real functional. It gets backed up pretty good.
Time being the key word there. City officials say there is some good news for the near future.
Buses from the north, they'll be able to use Oak and Flanders Mill. That'll get them to the schools. And from the west, Durston will be reopened here in a couple weeks, so they'll be able to get back to the school.
Now, Johnson says as we get closer to the new school year, a notification will be sent out to address this issue, telling parents what they can expect from this construction as they do take their students back to school. The notification will also include updated detours. In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
And roadwork is nearly done on Huffine Lane, but not before giving drivers one more round of delays in traffic. If you drove by Love Lane yesterday, you probably saw this jam up. Crews are putting the finishing touches on intersections, newly updated traffic lights, along with a chip and seal process. MDT officials say they do expect the lights to be on by the end of this week. In other local news, a man accused of murder is now charged with assaulting a Gallatin County Detention Center officer. According to court documents, Joseph Paul DeWeese punched an officer while working at the center on Saturday. An officer was giving medication to inmates when DeWise became irritated, saying that he had not been awakened for his own medicine. DeWise reportedly pushed and then punched him right in the eye before he was restrained. DeWise's bail was set at $150,000, in addition to $1 million bail set for the 2018 intentional homicide charge related to his ex-wife, Lauren DeWise's murder. And a Manhattan man is accused of trying to break into 3 different Bozeman car washes. Travis Marburger is charged with 3 counts of burglary. Detectives say a man wearing a hoodie and a baseball hat and shorts with gloves and hiking shoes broke into Bridger Bubbles, taking about $1,200 in cash. The next morning, the man with the same description tried to break into Scrubby's car wash but failed and then drove away. In the morning after that, surveillance caught the man trying to do it again, this time at Eco Joe's Splash and Go, and he failed that time too. Detectives say they later arrested Marburger after a friend helped confirm a matching description. And tonight kicks off 2 nights of debates between the gigantic field of Democratic presidential candidates. CBS's Laura Podesta is in Detroit with details on what you can expect.
Over the next 2 nights, 20 presidential hopefuls will be here in Detroit for the second Democratic debate. Like the last debate, the field is split into 2 groups of 10. Tonight includes Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Somebody like Donald Trump should not be able to get within cheating distance of the Oval Office.
They'll try to balance attacking President Trump with debating the issues.
Now is the time to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program.
Donald Trump has brought us to the edge of war again in the Middle East.
CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys Anthony Salvanto says last month's debate will shape how the candidates try to stand out in the crowd.
Voters told us that they felt that candidates like Elizabeth Warren in particular, and also Bernie Sanders, were going to fight for people like them. Joe Biden didn't poll as well on that measure. He polled very well on being seen as electable, able to beat Donald Trump.
Voters here in Detroit also want to see how candidates take on President Trump's recent tweets, attacking 4 congresswomen of color and the city of Baltimore.
He knows exactly what he's doing. It's calculated.
It's going to all come down to compassion and policy.
This may be the last chance for some candidates to see the national stage. The next debate in September has a higher polling threshold that some won't reach. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Detroit.
Now, of course, a lot more to follow on this. Tomorrow night's debate includes frontrunner Joe Biden, as well as Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and Andrew Yang. So far, only 8 candidates have qualified for the September debates. And let's take it back to Montana. To make flathead cherries so tasty, it takes the perfect combination of Montana weather every year. But there's also a lot of counting and sorting and things that go through the aftermath as well. Maren Shu shows us how it all works.
Before the popular flathead cherry hits grocery stores and stands around Montana, there's a careful inspection process the fruit goes through. Cherry growers from around Montana drop hundreds of pounds of cherries to this warehouse in Polson for inspection. Linda Knight has managed this plant for 20 years and says how rigorous that process is.
We receive the cherries from the individual growers, ticket them out so they are recorded with the number of bins, how many cherries, and the type of cherries. We run them through the hydro cooler, and then we ship them in semi-trucks, approximately average say 116 to 114 bins per truck. Throughout the season, every day we try to empty the warehouse.
So this is where some of the quality control happens. Batches of cherries are hand-picked and then put through this processor. After going through this processor, the cherries are then mixed with a solution of sugar and water to bring any insects to the top. If any insects are found, that entire batch of cherries won't be sold. To keep cherries fresh upon grocery store arrival, cherry grower Bruce Johnson says the cherries need the perfect temperature.
Get the fruit as cold as they can fast, put it in the refrigerator, keep it cold there, and once they get enough bins to load a truck, the trucks are loaded.
And it's cooler temperatures that gave this cherry season a slow start.
Cherries like hot weather. 80 degrees, that's good for cherries, and then it would cool back like 50 degrees at night. That's really nice for cherries.
He says it's a delicate weather balance. Too hot and the fruit can mush and bruise easily. Johnson says people should be seeing cherries in the grocery stores and stands now, but more will be available in the coming weeks. In Polson, Martin Siu, MTN News.
Oh, that gets me awfully excited for cherry season. It is time for a quick break.